I appreciate it. So Bett wants to be a director eventually. She wants to be in a management position. But you know, she's not ready for it yet. But she's working towards it. Got a quick question for you. Is that what you'd like? Somebody came to you today and said, I need a director. Would you be willing to step up and be a director?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of training you got for that? What kind of training you got lined up for that? None, right? All right. So you're just sort of hoping. And I buy Powerball tickets, you know, every week too. And I'm sure. So, you know, if you really want to be successful, I mean, if you're really serious about success, as opposed to just sort of sitting around hoping that it's going to show up and hit you over the head at some point in time, you need to take steps to be ready. So when the opportunity shows up, you're ready for the opportunity, right? And arguably, that's what Bett's doing at this particular point in time. So Bett got up here and gave a speech, and she sat down. And if I went to any one of you right now and said, so how was Bett's speech? What would you tell me? Great. It was a great speech. She did a really good job. I really enjoyed her speech. Okay, great. So next time she gives a speech, what kind of speech is she going to give?
Great speech.
She's going to give exactly the same speech, right? So I'll grant you it was a good speech, okay? Was it a perfect speech? Does anybody believe that that was a perfect speech?
No. No.
Baby, I am so sorry. Where they're coming from. That is so mean of them. You don't think it was a perfect speech. So she should change something. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And if she changed it, would the next speech be better?
Yeah. Maybe.
Now, would that speech be perfect?
No. Hopefully.
Really? This isn't looking good for you. So she'd have to change that speech and get better?
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, when Dr. Martin Luther King, we all know, was a very famous speaker. What do you think the first speech he gave? You think it was a perfect speech? No, you think he had to improve and improve? John F. Kennedy had to improve. Same concept going on here, okay? And that's what Toastmasters is all about. So Toastmasters says, come on, go home, practice that speech in front of the mirror. Get up here, have the courage to get up here and give people a speech, okay? And then based on that speech, we're going to give you feedback, okay? We're not there to pick you apart. We're here to say, hey, what worked well, because do that again, right? And what didn't work well. And at that point in time, you knew what to change for the next speech. How cool is that? Now, you guys are in meetings all the time, right? Phone calls, meetings. You know, when the meeting's over, you go, okay, great, we reached our agreement, we've got some actions and stuff like that. Do they say, stop? Wait a minute? Let's give you some feedback on how that meeting went. Things you could do maybe different next time. You know, show up for the conference call at the right time. Maybe you could speak into the phone a little clearer, perhaps. I felt that we wandered halfway through. Could we maybe do they give you any of that sort of feedback?
Yeah. Never been.
No. Not really. Your friends might, but they're just being mean. That's what that's all about. So you live in a life where you do stuff and you get no feedback. Is that correct? Pretty much? Mm-hmm. Except for the end of the year when your boss says, whatever. We'll do it again next year. How's that sound? Okay. All right. So it looks like you've got a void in your life. Well, guess what? Toastmasters can fill that void. Okay? So let's see what we can do for Bett. Because you start my timing now. All right. So this is one of those books that we passed around that you looked through but didn't really understand what the story was. So the concept of this is Toastmasters. Every single speech that you give in Toastmasters is designed to build a skill, to give you a talent that you don't already have. She's got a bunch of talents. Now she's got to move on to the next one. This one's a tricky one. It's called Inspire Your Audience. How the heck do you inspire somebody? Hey, the building's on fire. How about if we leave? I don't know. Is that inspire? I don't know. Whatever it is. But anyway, that was her goal for this particular one. Let's see how Bett did, shall we?
Yeah. All
right. So what do we know? Well, she got up here. Well, wait. First off, let me ask you the ultimate question. What did she talk about? It was like 5-10 minutes ago. What the heck did she speak about?
Herself.
Herself? Oh, great. She talked about herself for 5 minutes. What else did she talk about?
3 things.
Toastmasters thing?
3 things.
Benefits? It's okay. So you guys actually remember some of what she talked about, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard somebody give a speech and like 2 minutes later you're like, not a clue? I sat through that whole thing. I got no clue what they talked about because it just didn't. Okay. So congratulations, Bett. You gave a speech and it stuck, at least a little bit, in some of the people. That's success right there. All right. So she had a great start. You know, when she stood up here to start speaking, did you feel energy? Did you feel some energy pouring off her? Man, and you're going to watch her no matter what, because she might have guns. You have no idea. She's up here, she's bouncing around. You have to keep your eye on her, because there might be a threat that you have to evaluate what's going on. But she got your attention, okay? And you know, what's interesting is when you give a speech, you've got words, right? You open up your mouth, your tongue sort of flaps around, and words sort of tumble out of your mouth, right? Well, that's a great tool, but is that the only tool you have when you give a speech?
Nope.
What else you got?
Hand movement.
Hand gestures. What else you got?
Inflection of voice.
Get the whole body, right?
Whole body.
Did Beth use her whole body?
Yes.
Man, big time, right? So it was the whole speech was coming from her, arguably, right? All right. Which brings up an interesting point. Beth, you know, if I was a carpet salesman, I would want you to give that speech 100 times. Because you're going to wear out this carpet. I'm going to have an opportunity to sell you a new carpet. Because you were cruising. Was she cruising?
Yeah.
Was she over here? I was trying to videotape her, man. She was going over here. I mean, she had a little area, but man, she was covering, she was owning it, which is fabulous, but it's hard for us to keep track of it. Because you start watching her going, wonder where she's going to go next. Okay? Now, it's cool to move around if it's going to support your story, right? If I'm going to tell you something, I'm going to come over here, and then I'm going to tell you something else. I'm going to go over here and tell you something. If I'm going to go over, then I could section my speech up. That's all fine. She was just cruising because she was bored, so that was all fine. So next time, just don't. She had great vocal variety, so she would talk quietly. So I was a software engineer, and I was sitting right here. And then the skies parted, the light came down, and I knew I had to stand up in front of people and tell them what to do. Or, you know, whatever. But she used her full range of voice. You know, you weren't sitting there going, go to sleep. All right. Interesting story that you told us. It was a little confusing though. So she was working in a cube. She was a software engineer doing J2EE stuff. Boss comes and says something about headphones, and then she's looking for a new job. So there was a transition there. Apparently there was some problem with the headphones that caused you to go look for a new job. I don't think that was the gist of it, but I was just a little confused on that. Okay, that's all fine. She made lots of gestures with her hands, didn't she? A lot of stuff. What's interesting is both of her arms are paralyzed at the elbows. A lot of people don't realize that. She's actually able to feed stuff. But it all had to be down here. So I'm going to show you a bunch of things, and this is how you do it, and this is how you type, which is great. But you know, people sitting in the back were going, what? What's going on there? She's going to fly. That's fantastic. When you make gestures, do it up here. You got a big 32-inch television sitting right here. Make sure all your gestures occur up here, okay? So the people in the back can see what you're doing, not down here. So that's all good stuff. She did a lot of stuff with the agenda. You know, if I was thinking about the presentation you give, hi, I'm Bett. I'd like to tell you join Toastmasters so you can figure out how to make agendas. Would you like to know how to make agendas? Join Toastmasters. That's not what Toastmasters is all about. So it's a part of what goes on, but it's not the whole thing. I thought that distracted from your overall topic, but that's okay. Tons of enthusiasm. During her speech, did you feel that Bett looked at you?
Yes.
Did that make you feel a little uncomfortable? Look, you know, when she gave her speech, it did seem like she was giving it to everybody in the room, right? Did everybody feel that she was connecting? You know, she was talking to you, she had information she wanted to share with you. Fantastic. The alternative is she could have sat here and gone, I'm Bett. Toastmasters is a very valuable organization. You might like to join because it can do a lot of good things for you. Think about it. No, but she took the time to actually make eye contact with you, which is fantastic. And was her speech funny?
Yes.
Did you laugh a couple times? Once, twice, 3 times? You know, humor is really hard to do, and to do it well. I want to compliment Beth. She worked it into her speech. She got people to laugh. When we laugh with the speaker. We have a moment of connection. We understand what she's saying, and then we all move on. Beth, you did a very, very nice job. I look forward to your next speech. But now, I really want to get into my evaluation.
Is that a new record? 2 red lights and
Flashing red
The
light.
blinking red light.
They may all still be friends after